Okay.
I know, but like every
Start right at the top.
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Do the same thing for this one. Come up with the two different equations that you could use. First one uses the 55-degree angle. The second one uses the 35-degree angle. Start with the angle. Choose one of the angles. Which one you chose? Okay. In reference to 35, what's x? Okay, what's 8?
I love how you
I know.
Hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always
All
against
those
the area,
snowflakes too,
but
guys.
it's opposite the
It'd be really cool if he moved.
hypotenuse is the opposite.
They're all
Right? So opposite
wait.
over hypotenuse. What's
You
that?
can see on her computer better. That's how I figured it out.
Wait, I can see one. I have a little blue blue.
Yeah, it's like right above them, but they're all over
Opposite
the
over
place.
hypotenuse.
No, there's
yeah.
only 3.
Nope, there's more than 3.
Oh, they're
There's
everywhere.
4.
1,
So the
2,
sine
3.
of
Oh
35.
yeah. I see.
And then
Hey,
one
really?
at the top of the
Look,
right.
look into the blue snowflakes.
He's not moving.
No, the
No,
snowflakes.
no-
Check
oh,
out the snowflakes and stuff.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, look, there's little blue.
You got one on
snowflakes.
top of his head and one on
And
There's
the
one on the
4.
other side.
Oh, I thought you were saying they were moving.
Oh, no.
Okay. Shh. The first one, if I use
Cosine.
55,
I didn't use that.
It's
Well, that's
Well, that's
cosine.
cosine.
It's cosine. Why use that?
if I use the 55-degree angle, it's the cosine because this is your adjacent, because it's adjacent leg to the angle, and 8 is always your hypotenuse. That's not going to change. So the cosine, C-A-H, cosine of 55 equals x over 8. Now if I choose to use the 35-degree angle,
It'll be
x is no longer the adjacent leg, it is now the
opposite.
opposite leg. S-O-H. So sine of 35 degrees is equal to the opposite over the adjacent.
Where did you do your little man? Like during class or
We
what?
found
Last
it.
night. I had fun playing last night.
Supposed to be exactly the same also, right? Like the same answer.
You will get the same answer, the exact same answer.
Did your kids help you last night?
All right. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay.
It
That's
Oh,
Okay, that is cool.
No, we're recording.
All right. Shh.
It looks
The
mad,
joys
though.
of geometry.
It
Okay.
looks kind of mad.
He is mad. He's called the angry turtle.
Why is he angry? But do y'all still have your turtle or y'all said it?
Oh, no. We said it free a long time ago. Okay. Suppose the sine of n
It's 5 over 13.
So
is equal to 5 over 13. Well, that makes sense because sine opposite hypotenuse. If this is my angle, 5 is the opposite and 13 is the hypotenuse, right?
See?
Okay. It says find the cosine of n. What do you need to be able to find the cosine?
The adjacent. and we
You
don't
need
have
the adjacent and we don't have it.
So it'd be X.
Nope. Do
So
we
you
have
use the right angle.
Pythagorean.
Thank you.
Why can't you use the right angle?
Because you can. You use the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side of the right triangle. Okay, well, the hypotenuse squared, so 13 squared, will be equal to 5 squared plus our missing side squared. When you subtract 25 from both sides and take the square root of both sides, our adjacent leg has a measure of 12.
Ooh, I know that.
So what is the cosine of n? As a fraction.
12 over 13.
12 over 13. Adjacent over hypotenuse.
Okay.
What is the tangent of n?
5 over
5 over 12. Opposite over adjacent. Okay?
Right? Oh, I thought you were
Don't go into the
tangent. was your turtle's name?
Tim. He's dead though, huh?
No, we let him go in the pond.
And
How
I'm
was
sure he's living
Roxy
a very
and-
soft
Sister has a
life.
turtle. She named him Nacho.
Who?
All right.
Oh, that one's cute.
Named him Nacho.
Is that koala?
What is that?
Where'd it go?
A lemur? A lemur?
This is one of those application questions.
Looks like he's jumping up.
Is it like a polar bear?
Oh, that's clearly a lemur. Is it a lemur?
Dude, it's a-
Panda.
Actually, it's supposed to be a ferret.
Oh.
Okay.
I knew that the whole time.
All right.
In the
First
front?
off, let's make sure we know what a guy wire is. You travel down the highway, you see a bunch of telephone poles that are connected together with your electric lines, and then they have an anchor wire coming down on the ground. All right, the guy wire is the anchor, trying to keep the pole anchored so it doesn't fall over like that one's doing in the yard. Notice it has no guy wire.
We don't have a guy wire.
Okay.
We should do that as a project.
Yeah, let's go install the guy wire on the electric pole.
That's
That's safe.
No, we can measure the length of the guy wire should be.
Yes, we did. Okay.
See, we can turn it into a project.
It's attached to the top of a 75-meter pole,
75.
which is really tall because it's supposed to be a tower, but my tower looked more like a pole, so I called it a pole. And meets the ground at a 65-degree angle. All right, here's your ground, but we don't like draw the, Anyway, what you have is a right triangle. And the question is, how much wire do you need? Basically, how long is the wire? Well, 65 is my designated angle.
You can do sign.
In relation to 65, I have opposite and hypotenuse, which would be sine. So the sine of 65 is equal to the opposite leg divided by the hypotenuse. How do you maneuver this equation to get x by itself?
Flip it.
You simply have to switch places here. X is equal to 75 divided by the sine of 65. All right, now we're going to plug that into our calculators,
Next, x equals 82.8.
and we're going to round to the nearest whole number. So it's approximately 83 meters. Okay, now let's talk about why this might be important. Let's say we had a big hurricane, like let's call it Gustav, and a bunch of light poles have gone down, okay, and nobody has electricity. So what that means is that all the linesmen and all the workers and people with like the electric companies are going to be working 24 hours a day until lights are back on. All right, so they all get their little meeting at the corporate office of Central, Clico Central. It's like you guys take 20 light poles, and your job today is to go and install these with guy wires. Okay? And we cover a 75-mile radius worth of stuff. So you're not going to be close to this place where all of the supplies are. So if you've got 20 poles and you know how tall they are and you know what angle you need to put the guy wire on at, you can figure out how much wire you need to take with you in your truck so that you can complete the job.
I don't even know what an angle.
Based on the, I'm not quite sure, but the tension from the other wires and getting it at a good angle to where it'll give it enough support.
That must be a tough job.
Okay?
It was all figured out for them already, huh? I mean,
Pretty
has
much,
to
but
figure-
somebody had to do it.
somebody had to do it, but
Oh, they have it easy.
Okay. Let's look at our next example.
you should have let us like circle the lemur before.
Wait, come on, running out of time. Let's go.
Yeah, I like the little ferret.
Oh, we have 10 minutes.
Sick person has all
That's
this.
the one I want. Okay.
Gosh, chillax.